and featuring deaf characters. The ABC Kids show is called Sally and Possum. Monique Shafter went behind the scenes, and this story has been translated into Auslan for our deaf viewers.
Hello. Up until recently, this Brisbane family of 5 couldn't kick back and watch a TV show together.
And you have 2, Possum.
Me?
That's because Luca, aged 9, is profoundly deaf.
Possum, no, you don't eat the honey.
But then Sally and Possum came along.
We sit down and watch it together because everyone in our house signs, so everyone can understand the language together.
Set in an ordinary Australian home, the show follows the daily adventures of Sally, who is deaf and uses Australian Sign Language, and a 6-foot-tall possum that lives in a tree in her garden.
Hi, Sally. Hello, everyone.
Good morning, Possum.
Good morning.
Luca, why do you love Sally and Possum?
Lots and lots of deaf people. Signing. Lots of people having fun, enjoying themselves, signing.
Now we can add it into the bowl.
It's my language. I can understand the signing. I don't like the speaking. I don't like it. It's difficult to understand.
Can you please get 1 tablespoon of honey?
It's in Luca's language and mine, and I don't have to interpret, and Luca can understand it easily because it's Auslan.
What's your painting? What did you do?
Well, I painted a colour wheel.
Sally and Possum is Australia's first TV series designed to help deaf and hard of hearing children develop early literacy, numeracy and communication skills.
We looked at deaf and hard of hearing children and their families and discovered that there's really not very many resources that are particularly targeted at them, and particularly in the Auslan language.
L-A-N-T-E-R-N, lantern.
Luca was born 9.5 years ago now, and we picked up through newborn screening that there was a hearing issue, but we didn't think anything of it. There was no history of deafness in the family and no cause for, we thought, any concerns. When we had him formally tested at 3 weeks of age, for them to tell us that he was profoundly deaf was absolutely devastating for us, and started a journey that's been going on ever since.
Possum?
It's not until you have a child that has a difference that you realise how mainstream television is pretty vanilla. There's not a lot of diversity there. To have a show like Sally and Possum is incredible because deaf kids, like our son, they get to see deaf people and they're on TV, and that gives them validation and all that mental health goodness that comes from seeing that.
You'll be in the tree coming out, so get your bag and hat ready. And roll cameras.
Rolling.
Ready, Possum? And action, Sally.
The showmakers asked the deaf community what they wanted in a kids show.
What they thought they needed was an Auslan show that was based around everyday life. So things like cooking in the kitchen and playing outside, and just that day-to-day life activity that would grow that Auslan skill set and that use and that vocabulary. So it made sense as a concept that we would base this in a domestic environment.
How's your tea? Is it yummy? I'll wait and see. Oh, it is good. It tastes so yummy.
What's it like for you directing this show compared to other shows?
Possum, I'll call you out, okay? As a director, there's certain things that you've just got to learn. If I have Sally walk into a scene carrying something, she can't start signing until she works out how to put that down.
Sally, what are you guys up to today?
We're going to go on an exciting journey, and we're going to learn all things about the world.
Sally Strobridge is one of the stars of the show. She's also a qualified teacher and a third-generation deaf person who works with interpreter Mikey Webb on set.
Growing up, though, we never really watched TV shows like Play School. Sesame Street wasn't something that was really accessible to us. And it wasn't until I got to adulthood, or young adulthood, that captions then started being on these programs. But I also realised then that younger children weren't reading those captions because they hadn't developed those English skills. So they still weren't getting that access, even though it was perceived that they were. But now I'm so excited because this is a fully accessible program in Auslan, knowing that a student or a child is always regardless of their language development, going to access this information because it's visual. It's a gesture, it's a mime, it's a facial expression, it's all of these things combined. This is filling in a much needed gap. I do like learning. I love learning.
Co-star Melvin Ratcliffe is a child of deaf adults and was raised in the deaf community.
It's great to know that it's actually doing something for deaf kids, because growing up in an Auslan house, knowing it can be a bit difficult with communication-wise, but knowing that this is helping them is a reward in itself.
Pretty good.
You think your tree house has shrunk?
When we all watch it together, it makes us learn even more sign language.
It's like signing practice for a whole family, so they understand.
Thanks for watching.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
That's the program for tonight.